am I? At some point in our lives, most people ask themselves this question. Today, in this video, I will attempt to simplify myself to see how my own identity and sense of self relate to some popular psychological theories relating to personality and development, as well as the media's impact on this. In order to see how they relate, we need to understand the theories themselves, and then, a summary, understand my own life and sense of self. Not in this exact order. I will be using Erikson's stages of development and James Marcia's stage theory theories to understand my own stage of identity formation by comparing it to their own outline. So, let's get in! Okay. First off, we're going to start with a little bit about who I personally am. So, some of my interests are gaming, drawing, a tiny bit of writing, a lot of reading, and painting. I like the general arts quite a bit. Some of my favorite video games are definitely the Titanfall games, Portal, and Skyrim, as well as Overwatch whenever I'm pretty good at playing it. Now, despite the fact that these games are interests of mine, I think that they also are an interesting support for some very important mindsets of mine, and can influence the way that I interact with people around me and the world around me, such as the importance of being able to be there for yourself, but also being a team member and being able to help those around you when they can't really be there for themselves, and when they need a little bit of help to be a good pick-me-up for your teammates and your friends. Some values of mine are being able to be there for yourself and for others, as well as to also be very self-reliant. I think that it's extremely important to be able to support yourself and be there for yourself. I also think honesty is the best policy. Is a really great method. I guess this is a bit of values and beliefs. Treat everyone how you want to be treated. Just that sort of general shared kindness to yourself and the world around you. Well, I don't really have any religious or political beliefs. I do have a general belief in the idea that all people are inherently good, and that we should try and be there for those in our lives as best as we can, and I think that that's important. I don't really have a whole ton of future goals, but I would like to find something that gives me meaning in my life, that I really look forward to and gives me reason to just give it my all every day, as well as graduating high school, staying in close contact with my friends, staying in close contact with my family, and fingers crossed, getting into a career field that I have a passion for. I think something in STEM would be awesome, but we'll see what the future has. Now, knowing a little bit about who I am, I think we can move on to talking about James Marcia's stage theory, which is comprised of 4 main phases. So these 4 phases are identity diffusion, foreclosure, mortaria, maybe pronouncing that wrong, and finally identity achievement. Diffusion is the term for a status of not committing to or exploring any identity options. Foreclosure is the status of committing to an identity without exploring options, while mortarium is the inverse, exploring options without commitment. Finally, there's identity achievement, the term used when an individual has both explored all options, or quite a few, and committed to an identity. All of these stages can be active at once in different areas, such as my apologies, religion or career choice. Personally, some areas that are currently in the diffusion status are religious beliefs, political beliefs, and my specific career path, all of which have little to no progress or exploration or commitment. Some areas I have committed to, even if I didn't really explore my options, are my style of clothing, my hairstyling, and the career field I would like to go into, STEM if anyone's asking. These areas would be in the foreclosure status because I've committed them to my identity, though I haven't really explored those fields to begin with. Just settled on the first thing I thought of or tried. On the other hand, an example of an area in the Mortarium stage, meaning I am exploring it, but I haven't committed to anything, is my general opinion on relationships and balancing them out. That includes friendships and romantic relationships. I've had relationships with numerous different people, and each relationship was a little different based on the person. An example of exploring. But I don't have a specific way of dealing with new friendships, so I haven't really committed anything yet. The final status for areas of identification is identity achievement, having explored your options and committed at least one to your identity. For me, this is how I express my interests. I know, pretty vague. However, there's more to it. After expressing them in different ways, an example of exploring, I've committed to hiding most of what I like with only letting surface level appreciation be shown. The option I have committed to. These statuses are not permanent though. As we grow, learn, and change, we explore new options and commit to different things as our identities change. Our beliefs adapt and we grow as people. Okay. Personally, I was never big on using social media, but media as a whole has been a massive part of my life, and has made a massive impact on my self-concept and continues to impact it. One of the most influential, currently being video games. However, the mindsets and pattern recognition that is part of our self-concept can be rooted in video games, such as being able to be there for your team or noticing that when other people are having trouble, to be there for them. And as silly as it may be, sometimes this is reinforced by video games, especially co-op team games. Our self-concept is everything that makes us, well, us. Like interests, labels, and especially mindsets. They're how we interact with the world around us. An example in my own life is how video games have changed my mindset on self-sufficiency versus group effort. One of my favorite games is Titanfall, a cooperative shooter with big robots. How could that possibly affect my self-concept? I'll tell you. During COVID, when I couldn't leave the house or interact with anyone in person, I played Titanfall. It was how I was able to reconnect with the world and learn, in a small portion. I learned how to take responsibility for my own actions and areas, and to trust others to be able to defend their own space, but also being able to acknowledge when someone needed help and when to step in. I also learned that I could do well on my own and be independent, but having good friends and people who support you can build you up without hindering you. These ideas and mindsets are a key aspect to determining how I interact with others in group environments like a group project, or how I support friends and family. These are real-life situations that are affected by video games of all things. They can handle themselves just fine, but when they need help, it's important to be there and to be a support to build them up. Not replace them, not leave them hanging, not tell them the right way to do something, but giving them the support they need. My own capability to do well in the game boosts my own self-esteem, especially when my friends join and we're able to win together. Not all media is bad for identity, only how we interpret it. I know this has been going on for quite a while, but I'm gonna wrap it up now, I promise. I'll try to connect this very accepted and prominent theory in psychology known as Erikson's stages of psychological development, or more specifically, the stage I'm currently in, according to Erikson, which is identity versus role confusion. This stage is all about balancing one's own identity with the roles and labels of the world around us. The groups and cliques we join in, the faces we present. A personal example is my own sense of style versus the type of clothing like emo, goth, basic, formal, etc. Or the types of groups I'm in, such as my own lunch group or theater group or, whatever. I am my own individual, but I still consider myself a gamer or a member of my lunch group or a woman. All labels of society, but labels nonetheless. These are all roles, which would fit into identity versus role confusion. This stage is about finding roles that fit me, not which version of me fits what roles. In other terms, it's about finding myself and who I want to be instead of having the world choose for me based on what I see. But that's just how I view my current status in Erikson's identity versus role confusion stage, and how it relates to my formation of an individual identity. I know that this has been a long video, so I thank you for sticking around and watching this to completion. I appreciate it, and I hope that you appreciate the time and effort I've put into this. That's all for today, and I hope you have a wonderful day.